All right now on the phone, we have Bobby Vaughn of The Promise Hero. Pretty good year if you're a Promise Hero fan. They recently put out a new record titled It's Been a Summer. They have a new video out that just came out yesterday, and they put out another album earlier this year out on one of my favorite independent labels, TDR Records. Bobby, how are you today?
Hola, I'm very well. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. Last month, you released it was kind of a surprise release, a new album called It's Been a Summer. When did you actually record that, though? When was that recorded?
I don't have the exact date, but I think it's 2013. So what has it been? Five.
Oh, wow. Okay, so this wasn't a recent recording.
No, and when you said surprise release, that actually goes for me as well. Mike Hollins, the owner of TDR Records, he's been a dude that's been releasing a lot of my stuff since 2008, and he has a lot of stuff that I've just sent him over the years that no one's ever heard. And then he kind of surprised me as well. He said, hey, I think he sent me the artwork. he's like, hey, how does this look? I'm like, wow, that's cool. And then he's like, I want to release these songs you sent to me. I was like, that would be amazing. So yeah, it was a surprise for me.
I did not know that. Now, did Mike pick the sequencing, or I mean, did you have a say in that? How'd that all go about?
Yeah, he picked everything, and I mean, then he ran it past me, and I was like, that looks so, I was blown away. I was so excited because those songs that he put on there were songs I was proud of. When we had so much other material, it was part of the demos for Deja Vu, which is my last album, 2013, and I was okay with moving on and trying to write newer songs that were more relevant to me and what was going on in my life, / the instrumentation that I was, picking up. I've been playing piano a lot more, so all of these songs are acoustic guitar and me singing, and I'm very proud of them, and it's very cool that they get to see the light of day.
It's funny because before knowing they were part of Deja Vu, it almost sounds like a different album on itself. That almost surprises me because some of those songs, I'd almost go, no, that's almost from a different session. To me, they sound kind of newer. So in a way, it actually works because a lot of those songs I think fit better on their own than they would have with the, I guess I'd say the vibe of Deja Vu. I think they work better on their own. Now, does that mean Jamie Wolford produced that one, right?
Yeah. So Deja Vu is Jamie Wolford and I sitting in the studio, and what we actually began with were an extension. All the songs that are on Deja Vu, I actually demoed those. They sound exactly like It's Been a Summer. It was all one session, and so what Jamie did was he took those songs and we kind of put our heads together, and we put drums and a bass and some electric guitar, and we actually had some strings on there too. So it definitely sounds completely different, but I actually do have Deja Vu with all the exact same recording setup that I did for It's Been a Summer. So yeah, that's probably something else I could release.
Oh yeah, you might as well. So those, at least since the songs on It's Been a Summer, they're stripped down. Was that before? Were those just like? Did you record those yourself?
Yep.
Or okay, so that doesn't have Jamie yet. That was even pre. I guess that makes sense because if there's not the drums and the other instrumentation. So those are all kind of on your own.
I also have those acoustic songs that ended up on Deja Vu. I have those with Jamie putting drums on top of it. Like I have a sequence of like Jesus. The demos of just me. I know. If you only knew how many versions of all the songs I've ever released.
I like that, though, because it's been, I mean, that's, as I mentioned earlier, you also released demonstration tapes earlier this year. That was 28 songs, so that's right there with It's Been a Summer and demonstration tapes. That's like 30-something songs just out this year. So, geez, then I also, I hate to keep jumping back to Deja Vu, but, God, I got to ask, how many songs did you write for that album before you cut it down? That sounds like you had a lot for Deja Vu.
I think I had about 30. And so Deja Vu is 10 songs, and I think It's Been a Summer is 10 songs. So yeah, there's still a few more floating around from that session somewhere on my computer.
Is there enough now to make an EP? You've made 2 albums out of it. You might as well.
Well, yeah. I think I've written almost 100 over the last, 2 years, even the last year, I think I've had probably 100 songs written. So yeah, it's tough, but I'm so lucky that Mike at TDR is like keeping track, and he's like releasing them. So it's pretty cool.
Mike is we got to give a nice shout out to Mike. TDR Records, best independent label out there.
I think you should interview him. I don't know if he's ever done one before.
God, that would be, we'd just sit here and talk about Drive-Thru Records for an hour. I think that's what I think that's what would end up happening. I would absolutely love to talk to Mike.
He's been through a lot. He's done a lot. He's still doing a lot, and I think it's time that he does an interview.
I would agree. Maybe we should pressure him into this. But
you got my vote.
I also want to ask, for people who might not know much about the Promise Hero, for one, you are from Cleveland, which is, I say it's up the road from us. It's about 2.5 hours, close enough. It kind of went back and forth. At times you've had a full band lineup. I know that sometimes you have a full band when you do live, but you also do acoustic stuff. I would kind of say it's your project, but have you always been like the sole songwriter in the Promise Hero, or is it kind of shifted to where it's kind of now it is you, like you are the Promise Hero? I mean, have you always written all the songs, or is that kind of shifted?
I want to say that the Promise Hero has always, I would say that I've always been the most excited about the Promise Hero project, so therefore it is my project. But the Promise Hero started with me and my best friend, Daniel White, and him and I were in a few different projects together, and then the last one we did was the Promise Hero, and we surrounded us with our other good friends who played instruments, and then we just kind of solidified it when we had 4 of us, and then as soon as people started kind of disappearing, doing their own thing, I never felt like I wanted to try to get a band. I was always kind of like, you know what, it works for me the easiest by myself. And Dan Weiss was like, I don't know if you want to compare it to like being married to like the most perfect person ever. And then when something happens, like I just never wanted that again. And I'm very happy and lucky that I have some really good friends in Cleveland that want to come play when there's a live show. And I like to switch it up. I like to keep it fresh. So sometimes I'll have 20 people on stage, and sometimes I want to try out just playing piano by myself. So I kind of keep it open at that.
I like that as someone who, I think I've seen you like 2 or 3 times. I think it's almost been, I've seen you do full band, and that's the other thing. I've seen you, it's just you up there with a piano or a guitar. It kind of keeps it fresh. And also, I think anyone out there listening who's ever been in a band has to agree with you. One of the hardest things about a band is just keeping it together, having people who are committed and stuff. So yeah, it's kind of nice that you can do it like that. So you just rely on yourself. You know, there's no like drummer's not showing up, or the bass player's not holding his own. It's like you can do your own thing, and then when you want people, you want to do the full band thing, you can do that too. Do you have a preference though? I mean, do you like having the full band live, or do you like it better to just kind of go up there and just yourself?
The way I see it is there's something magical about getting a group of people together, especially if they're all committed and they all want to stay together. You guys get so tight. There's like a chemistry. It's like one super entity, It's like when you have a bunch of people, there's so much energy radiating off of them. People are just attracted to it because people want to be where there's a group of people having fun. So there's so many benefits to having a group of people in a band. And I think if you're going to go solo, like what I'm trying to do, I think you have to be super talented. And that's the one thing I'm working on. It's like a flawless show. The one thing I've always loved was I've always kind of tried to work off of what Tom DeLonge did in Blink-182. He was so charismatic, which I feel like I try so hard to accomplish, but he's always been a sloppy guitarist. And to me, that was okay as long as you have a good band around you. But now, as a solo musician, it doesn't work that well when I mess up something and then all of a sudden the whole show stops because it's just me on stage, Well, so it also depends. Like if everybody in the audience is screaming out my lyrics, then I guess it doesn't matter that I mess up. But if like I'm trying to win over a new crowd and it's like nobody's seen me before, it's like I just butcher a song. It's like, why would they want to give me the time of day? So trying to, as hard as I can, to beef up my performance. That's that's my main goal.
I think as someone, though, who has seen you solo, though, I think you hold your own pretty well up on
Thank
stage.
you.
But, I mean, also, Blink-182 is one of my favorite bands, and they made a career out of playing sloppy. So, I mean, I think...
But there's so many things. You got Travis Barker, who's there's your flawless musician right there.
He's the guy. Yeah, you're right. I mean, Travis is in time, but, I mean, if you go watch Mark and Tom, I mean, I love them live, but even I'll admit they're their favorite band. But, yeah, you know, they're sloppy, but there's an energy. I think that's the difference there.
That's the super, like, the energy you get when you have a combination of different personalities all in one. Like, that makes an unstoppable force. My original lineup, people were starting to dig it back in 2007 or 8, and we started getting attention, and I was like, why are we getting attention? I'm the worst guitarist ever, but my guitarist, Dan Weiss, who's my best friend, everybody was like gravitating towards him. I remember I was chatting with Patrick Stump in an email. I accidentally stumbled upon his email and I sent him my demos, and he writes back and says, your guitar work is amazing. And I was like, I wish it was my guitar work, but my guitarist just left at the time, and then I kind of had like a few years trying to figure out what to do. And then my decision was, you know what? I want to be able to attract people with my playing as well. So that's kind of where I'm going, but at the same time, I definitely understand and recognize that getting a group of people together and getting them to stick with it also works too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that's the hardest thing with the band is just finding people who are actually dedicated and,
right.
Keep it going. I mean, on paper, everyone wants to be in a band. That sounds all fun and, all that good stuff. And then when you actually have to, like, show up for rehearsal, you have to write songs, you have to hold your own, all that. So I think you're in a good place. I mean, at least in my opinion, that to me works, and it seems like you're determined enough because, including on the past couple releases, I mean, if it's mainly you and, like you said, Jamie on there, I think you hold your own quite well. Thank you. What do you think's different? I mean, throughout, did you take lessons or anything like in between to get better?
You could call it that. I've obsessed over certain things, like my guitarist. I keep bringing him up, but like in the beginning, after he left, I would watch live videos of us on YouTube and try to figure out his fingering on guitar. And then occasionally he moved to New York City. That's why he kind of left. But when we would get together, I'd whip out a guitar. I'd be like, hey, is this how you play that? To get his confirmation. And then just going on tour with bands and just surrounding myself with other musicians that I wanted to be like. My first gig as a roadie, which is how I've kind of been paying my bills over the last few years, I was a guitar tech / merch for Andrew McMahon. And so that was the introduction for realizing that piano is an option. I was building Andrew McMahon's piano every day on stage.
Oh, wow.
Like pulling it out of the case and then instructing the venue staff to help us how to lower it out and put the legs on and put the sustain pedal on and then we'd have to get it tuned every day, and it was so interesting. I had so much. And then Andrew McMahon would come out and I'd sit there next to him while he would warm up, and it was so amazing. So that was my first gig, and I came home from that tour. I was like, I want to play piano now, because he definitely just himself could pull so much attention just by hitting. The piano is a perfect sounding instrument. That's one of the reasons, and to be able to without even thinking about it, play well and then sing on top of it, it just sounds so good that I just can't resist.
I have the utmost respect for that. I think most people say that if you learn piano, you can pretty much play anything. I think most people say it's one of the hardest things to actually be good at. I tried for a while, and I have respect for anyone who's good at it, because that takes a lot of time to perfect. A
lot of rhythm, like drums on the piano. Like, I realized that I could play drums better the more I learned piano. Pretty cool.
Really? Is that kind of then from like that whole doing the, kind of your left hand kind of keeping the rhythm in the left hand, right? Is that kind of what you're doing there?
I think there's unlimited variations. Like, you could do a bass solo in your left hand and then keep the chords in the right hand, and that's the thing that is also applied on drums, is being able to put any rhythm on any limb.
Yeah, that's true. That's a very that's another one. I don't know. I have respect for a good drummer. That stuff's hard. But Andrew, like you were saying with piano, he's perfect. He's a perfect example of that. I think Something Corporate, that band wouldn't have sounded half as good it was had that piano not been in there. Like adding that element, I think really justifies what you were saying. I mean, it really does add something else to the music. So this kind of changes it up, knowing now with It's Been a Summer kind of being older songs with Demonstration Tapes, which came out also earlier this year, also on TDR Records. That one's a 28-song collection, and that's like from your entire career, right? That's like demos and outtakes and acoustic versions and stuff, but that spans your whole career, right?
Absolutely. Let's see, what's the oldest one on there? It might be the song. There's actually 2 versions of it at the end of the album. Eyes Wide Open. I think that might have been like 2006 we wrote that. I mean, we have songs actually way before Eyes Wide Open too that I actually sent Mike. I was like, do you want to throw these on there that were like computer microphone recording of us like jamming? And I guess that was a little too raw for him, but that album definitely has a taste of every, whatever you want to call it, like lineup that we had. There's acoustic songs by myself, but then there's like full band demos, and then there's the whole thing actually starts off with the newest recording I made. And that was actually a cool song that I did in Nashville with Will Pugh from Cartel, and then Steve from Punchline was actually over while I was recording that. I was trying to get Matthew from Reliant K to stop over. I was trying to do something crazy, and I couldn't get Matthew over, but we still had a fun time.
That's still a nice little lineup though on there, Steve and Will.
Yeah, absolutely.
We should also bring up, yesterday you released, I think, the contender for the best video of the year for
That's amazing.
Maybe I'm Just Crazy. I feel like that was Chris's idea. Was that Chris Fafalius's idea, or who decided the direction of that video? I was dying the whole time. That was hilarious.
The direction of the video was I think we decided on it like 5 minutes before we hit record on the video camera. All I know is I've been the biggest Chris Fafalius fan ever since he's been posting these wacky, funny videos over the last, 20 years? I don't even know how many years.
My personal favorite is still Quinterviews. That's still my
favorite.
Oh my
God.
It's still my favorite thing.
I love it so much. I think he let me be on something. I don't think was it Quinterviews or he did something.
I think you were on Quinterviews. If memory serves me well, I think there are like 7 or 8 episodes, and I'm pretty sure you were on there. You may have even been one of the first.
I wasn't actually. I don't think I answered the questions. He just had he cut to me where I was like saying.
I think you were. It was like you were on Skype or something. Actually, if I'm remembering this now, and anyone who's listening to this, you need to go. You need to go to YouTube, and if you don't know Chris Fafalius, you need to go listen to Punchline. But you need to go to YouTube and look up Chris Fafalius Quinterviews. Really, you won't go anything on his YouTube page. You're not going to go wrong with. But,
my God, it's so entertaining.
But yes, the new video that came out yesterday definitely, I mean, Chris is in it, but it definitely feels like a video that, yes, Chris Fafalius had a lot of input with. Oh, that's perfect. Is that on YouTube right now?
Yeah, it is. It's on YouTube, Facebook, and there's another video service that I should probably say. It's called vid.me. August 17th. I'm very excited. Opening for Patent Pending. These are some dudes that I've known.
Now that band is so good live.
That's why I'm so excited. It's my first time seeing the band play live, and I'm getting to open for them.
Oh, you've never seen them live?
I've seen so many online videos of them playing live. I've seen all their music videos. I'm kind of friends with Rob, the guitarist. His brother books my band, Ted.
Oh, really?
So it's like I have so many little affiliations, and I'm like, after 10 years of following them, I'm so excited to finally be in the same room with all of them.
Oh, they're absolutely amazing. They have an absolutely great live show. And where'd you say that's going to be at?
That's at the Foundry in Cleveland. Have you ever been there?
Yeah, actually, I went there once for Hawthorne Heights. You jumped on last minute. And I think I got there, awesome. And I think you played I think I caught one song.
But the Foundry always has great sound, so I'm excited.
I was actually just about to say that. That was my comment. For that place, I remember it having absolutely great sound.
Yep, I love it, and good food, too. I don't think I've actually tried everything, but everybody talks about it.
I also got to ask, I mean, we're going back a little ways with this, but I think, once again, because, people listening who might not know The Promise Hero, we're introducing you, and I think one of the coolest things in the band's history is Chris Conley of Saves the Day produced Wait for the Sun. Was that your second album? Or was that
our first full-length.
That was your debut full-length. So, I mean, I just got to ask, I mean, he doesn't really produce other bands. How did that come about?
It was just the perfect timing. I sent him a message on MySpace. I was just seeing, I'm like, hey, if he doesn't write back, then he doesn't write back. And then I think it was like a week later he wrote back with like an essay, like the longest message ever. And I didn't even read the entire message. I was like just crying of happiness that he acknowledged me. And then he said, the guitar work is awesome. Another guy that was like, he loves the guitar. And we just kept talking back and forth, and it worked for him and it worked for us to get together, and it was just perfect timing.
Yeah, that's amazing, because he really, I can't think of another band that he's produced. I'm pretty sure you guys are the only, if not only, like a handful of bands. You
go to his Wikipedia page, it'll tell you.
Really?
one other band, and I forgot what it was. They're really good too. I know they were actually on tour with Save the Day at one point. I'm trying to look it up really quick, but my computer is like, sorry.
I got my phone right here. Let's see if I can find
it. It says that he produced this on his Wikipedia page.
It has to be an honor. I feel like that's an honor.
Is. Conley worked with the Promise Hero to record a demo at his studio, Electric Ladybug. Actually, if you type in Save the Day, actually, I don't even know, Promise Hero, Chris Conley, I documented it.
Oh, really? So
it's all on YouTube.
Okay, so yeah, people can go find this on YouTube if they wanna see you working with Chris Conley.
Yeah, back in 2007, 10 years ago.
God, that I gotta ask too. Kind of going back with demonstration tapes, since those songs go all throughout your career, I mean, were there songs on that you just totally forgot about?
There was one on track 15, You Found Me. I totally forgot about that song. I mean, some of these songs were like, I just showed Dan, and he was like, let's demo it. We demoed it immediately and never listened to it again. sent it to, obviously I sent it to Mike because he had all these. Yeah, that one I never listened to.
It sounds like Mike is probably the guy who has like everything you've ever recorded. Like that's the reference. If you're like, hey Mike, I kind of remember recording this song. Did this really exist, or am I just making this up? It'd be the guy to go to.
He actually probably does have more of my own music than I do, because I switched from like a desktop computer, and I just threw it away. I think it was broken. So, but there are some tracks on the demonstration tape, the 28-song album, that I wish saw the light of day. I wish that were on they actually got, I was hoping that would make Wait for the Sun, but they didn't. Like the song We Were Close. Oh, that one's so much fun. I just don't know why we didn't choose these songs. Some of these songs, let's see, I think some of them were actually demoed at Chris Conley's house that are on here.
Oh, wow.
You might even have him singing on them.
I think he does, and I can't remember the song, but I think there is one or two songs on the album that he is on. So if you're a Saves the Day fan and you've never listened to The Promise Hero, you need to go get demonstration tapes, which you can go get on tdrrecords.limitedrun.com.
Yeah, Mike from TDR, he definitely takes care of people that buy from him. He'll throw in, if you buy one CD, he'll throw in like 5 CDs, He's the most generous, fun
mystery mailers, man. Give them $5. You'll get a bunch of posters, CDs, all that good stuff. So yeah,
let's just name this interview TDR fan, whatever you want to call it.
I love the guy. I've never met him in person, but I love the guy. He's great.
Yeah.
That's what I like about TDR Records. We got to we leave this stuff in the interview. I try to promote things on the show, and that's one of them. TDR Records is one of those labels where Mike won't just get a bunch of bands and release stuff. It's like kind of handpicked. He only does so many releases a year and stuff, so it's like there's a quality to it. It's one of those labels where if Mike puts it out, I go, that's probably a really good band. Not like a Mike signed this guy because he might not like it, but he thinks it might sell a couple albums. He only releases things from bands that he himself would actually listen to. So yes, go check out TDR Records, and you can get demonstration tapes, and you can also get It's Been a Summer on TDRrecords.limitedrun.com. I also got to ask, It's Been a Summer, is that a Newfound Glory reference, or is that just a coincidence?
Well, Mike, that's a good question for Mike when you interview him, because he actually presented the title to me, and I was like, I love it. I didn't really ask him, but I assumed it was.
If it's Mike, it was definitely a Newfound Glory reference.
I just assumed it was, yeah. And I love it.
Oh,
I'm a huge Newfound Glory fan myself.
I think the album art too. Got to give him some credit there. I like the album work for it. He put something really nice together. And there's a vinyl release too. You did a limited vinyl release for it, I believe.
Yeah. Is it? I think it's only vinyl or digital for the It's Been a Summer.
And then if people want demonstration tapes, that's digital and that's also CD. No vinyl on that one, I don't believe, but you can get CD or digital for that. So you got choices, which once again, TDR.limitedrun.com. We are, after the interview, we're going to be playing Maybe I'm Just Crazy off of demonstration tapes, and then after that we're going to be playing Disappear off It's Been a Summer. You want to talk a little bit about each song?
Absolutely. Maybe I'm Just Crazy. Well, I think I had the melody and the chords for that song already in my head for a few days, but it wasn't until my friend that was managing the Promise Hero, he would disappear, and I would get like, am I just crazy or does he hate me? And so these lyrics started like filling in the song was in my head at the same time. So it just kind of turned out to be about my friend that was kind of ignoring me, but he had his own stuff going on. So it worked out. We were all friends in the end, and he knows the song's about him. The song Disappear, I think if you listen to the lyrics, it's kind of it's just talking about how, someone is kind of leading me on, and it's like, I'd rather you disappear than lead me on, instead of leaving me to wonder why you're not replying. Actually, both songs are about the same thing.
Oh, really?
They're both, I'm not the same person, but they're both about the same situation. Like, why aren't you calling me back? I find myself in that situation a lot.
That's a relatable thing, though. That's a very relatable topic. That's something I think almost anyone who hears it go like, oh yeah, I can relate to that.
Absolutely. That's when I'm writing songs too, is when nobody's calling me back, so I have all this time on my hands to talk about that. But the song Disappear is, I remember I showed it to my grandmother, and she's like, I don't like that song. You want someone to disappear for good? I'm like, you know what? Maybe I won't. I won't push this song anymore, and that's why I don't think it's on the light of day until now. Until
now, and now it's going to be broadcasted out. I don't know. I like that one, and I think they're both really good because they're kind of different. While the lyrical content's kind of similar, I think it kind of shows both sides of the Promise Hero. There's kind of that acoustic side, and then Maybe I'm Just Crazy. It's a little more electric and kind of. I think it's a good representation of the band. Because you've had an interesting, I think too, even musically, I think you've kind of come into your own the last, I think maybe Deja Vu is a good one for that. Because you've kind of shifted. I think there's still kind of that, I don't know if you'd consider yourself pop punk. I mean, that's such a general term. I don't know if you really like any kind of terms, but it's I think you've kind of went from that and you've kind of kept it, but there's more pop sensibility. It's more than just a bunch of loud distorted power chords like you were talking about. You kind of there's the piano. I think you have very interesting chord progressions. You do much more than just like I said, here's 3 power chords thrown together, and there's 10 variations on an album and it all sounds the same. You've kind of went in a different direction, kind of like Saves the Day, actually. I mean, kind of like with Chris Conley, where kind of that shift where you can still kind of hear that early sound, but you've grown into something much more that I think a lot of bands would kill for. That I think you really got to in the last few releases. Yeah,
and also seeing that Andrew McMahon carry himself with just the piano and how full it sounds. That was another. I mean, I mentioned this already, but I just want to reiterate that. Oh my God, he was so amazing. And then if you look him up right now on YouTube of him just playing piano and singing, it's like a full band in just one instrument. that's another reason why I love the piano.
So that really was a big musically for you. I mean, being on that tour, that sounds like that did a lot, kind of like almost re-inspired you in a way.
Every tour, I go out with the band Shaky Graves as like an everything guy. Like I'll set up his stage and sell his merch. But that guy inspired me to be flawless because he'll go up there by himself in front of 20,000 people, and he'll just play the guitar and sing. And he does like rhythmic stuff with his feet, like playing a tambourine on one foot and then like a kick drum on the other foot. And he's doing it like I'll watch him as his guitar string pops, and then he starts bending the notes so they're all like in tune still, and he doesn't miss a note singing. And that inspired, like every tour I go on. Like I just came off of this Best X, which was formerly Candy Heart, and Shane from Valencia and Mark from Spitalfield was on that tour. Like even doing that tour gave me so many new ideas and inspiration. So it's like that's going on tour has been paying the bills when I'm not the main act, as like if I'm a roadie, but it's also like teaching me what I need to do with my band too. So yeah, I try to just remember things too.
That sounds fun though too. That's kind of that sounds like a much more fun way of paying the bills than some of the alternatives. That seems like much more fun than like an office job or something, to go out there and do that.
I at least want to surround myself in the industry that I want to be good at, But I worked at like restaurants. I was a server, and I would used to like walk in and be like, okay, since this is not music, what can I get out of this? And I'd be like, well, I want to learn how to be a better communicator. So, I just go up to tables and just practice talking.
That's a very positive. That's a really good way to look at things. How you handle them. Because see, I and maybe other people are like this. I look at it, and if it's not, I've worked crummy jobs in the past, and it's like when I'm there, I kind of have that idea of, well, what's this going to do for me? But instead of going, I could learn this, that, I just go, I'm gonna half-ass it. So yeah. So I think the way you went is interesting in a much more positive way. And kind of like you said too, you just got off tour with Mark. Mark's kind of like that, like what you were talking about, where it's like before you kind of. I'm not saying hide behind a band. I don't mean it like I'm trying to word it in a way so it doesn't sound bad. But it's like you can't hide behind a band. Like so yeah, he's going from like Spitalfield to now getting up there by himself. It's kind of like that shift. He's
insane how he never turns off this, like, you go up to... Have you ever had a conversation with Mark Rose? He is...
Very short conversation here and there.
He is the most... There's it's like a religious experience every time I talk to him on the tour. Like, he just smiled, and he was like... I felt like he understood everything before I even said it. And I don't know. I think I'm just gushing. I'm a big fan, so... But every time he talked, I felt like I learned something. And just even if he was, like, not even saying anything, like just smiling, I'm like, oh, okay, I should probably smile more.
No, he seems like he has a good outlook. How do people find you? People want to go online, they want to connect with the Promise Hero, they want to hear you, all that fun stuff. You want to plug your social media?
Well, type in the Promise Hero on any website, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. You'll find me. Search it on Google or YouTube. You'll see my music videos. ThePromisehero.com goes to our Facebook page. TDR Records.
Yeah, TDR Records.
I don't know what else to say.
TDRrecords.limitedrun.com. You can basically get like everything you've ever released there. I mean, that's the place to go if people want music. And then, it is 2017. You can go to Google, throw in The Promise Hero, and you're probably going to get links to Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube,
absolutely,
all that good stuff.
This is the end of the interview. I don't want to open up a whole new can of worms, but like what I'm about to say has nothing to do with music, but it possibly has to do with my future. Is the fact that life is so beautiful, and it's just very cool to be a part of it. And making music is, it has so many things involved that I love doing it. I don't know. I'm kind of straying away from what I wanted to say. It's just like. I love everything about being alive today, I guess. And, you'll hear musicians talk about music was better quality, music had a better life back in the day when people could make money off of it. But I don't know. I'm very happy and excited to see what happens in the future.
Well, and do you think, too, I mean, like you said, open another can of worms, but now I even got to ask, I think there's still ways to make money, don't you? But it's kind of harder.
Oh, absolutely. That's what I learned going on these tours, the bigger tours. These guys are making so much money, and there it is. That's it right there. Just go on tour, but be really good at it, or be really good at selling your music on iTunes. Whatever it is, there's absolutely a way.
So right now we're about to play 2 songs from you. We're gonna start off with Maybe I'm Just Crazy off Demonstration Tapes, and after that we'll go into Disappear off your new album It's Been a Summer. If you like what you hear, you can go to tdrrecords.limitedrun.com. Also, Google is your friend. Go type in The Promise Hero, and you're going to find all their social media to go connect with them. And also, The Promise Hero will be playing in Cleveland. Sorry, do you remember the date? When are you playing?
Yep, August 17th with Patent Pending Foundry Concert Club.
You got to go check that out. That venue's great, and it is. It's like 2.5-hour drive. What else are you going to be doing? Go do that. It's going to be a lot of fun. So right now, here's The Promise Hero with Maybe I'm Just Crazy right here on the Power Chord Hour.